Satnam and welcome. I'm Bottom Dave, and this is Yogic Living. Today, as you can see, we are not on the mountain. We're at my buddy Joe's shop in his little side office slash workout room. And so, what I wanted to talk about today was the subconscious and how those things can affect you. Alright, so let's first talk about what the subconscious is. Now, in case you're not familiar with it. Now, the subconscious is that part of your brain that takes in everything. All the things that happened in your childhood, all the commercials, all the TV, all the music and everything. It takes in like all the information. And based on what your experiences were during that time, your emotional state, everything, um, these subconscious thoughts bubble up. They can bubble up, of course, in your dreams. That's one of the reasons why we have dreams, is to kind of like filter those subconscious thoughts. But some of these things that are buried in your subconscious are issues that can affect you negatively. And so, how does the subconscious get filled up? Well, there's lots of different ways. Like I said, all the stuff that happened in your childhood, like especially if there's any trauma associated, with anything growing up, that can have a big effect on your life. Of course, as most people know, most people realize, and those things that you can do with deal with them, are of course yoga and therapy and all other sorts of other stuff. Another way they get filled up is through music, through television. Of course, television, movies, music, advertising. Especially with your advertising, your advertising is almost based to pinpoint into your subconscious so that you can have these wants, these desires to buy, the Gucci stuff or the Louis Vuitton or brand X. Put in whatever brand you want. These advertisers are actually they've actually studied psychology and all the different things that can go directly into your subconscious and make you want these things, and you not even realize it on a conscious level. You just say, well, I want it because I want it. Well, you want it not because you need it, not because you really want it. It's because these advertisers are good at their job, and they've done things to make you desire, to make you want to have all this stuff. And so now that you're becoming more aware of it, you can have more of a defense against it. The music we listen to, growing up, to undermine our faith in ourselves actually helps other people to control you. And I listened to some of the songs, like the lyrics of the songs I grew up with, especially like in high school. Like, one of the bands that were big when I was in high school was Nirvana. and one of the lyrics to the songs was like something like, "Oh, I'm so ugly, but so are you, broken mirrors." And so that singing that along with that, embeds it deeper into your subconscious. And I don't know how many years I sang along that song, but I know my self confidence is not that great. But now I'm becoming more aware of this and the things that have led me to have this negative image of myself. Now I can root those out and easier. And hopefully you can learn by some of my mistakes. Of course, another song growing up was by the Offspring, and it's all about this guy who has this girl who's really abusive to him. And one of the lyrics goes something like this. Uh, Late at night, she knocks on my door. She's drunk again and looking to score. I may be dumb, but I'm not a dweeb. I'm just a sucker with no self-esteem. So, there again, another one, directly upon the self-esteem, you know, saying that, even though it's talking about somebody else, when you sing along, it embeds it. Even if you're just listening and not singing along, and you're kind of bouncing along to it, whatever, it still gets in there. It still takes root. And of course, another one, from my era, is a song by Radiohead. I believe it's called "Creep," and it goes something like this. Oh, I'm a creep, I'm a weirdo. What the hell am I doing here? I don't belong here. And again, it just, you sing along with it, it helps to get that deeper into your subconscious, and if you're just listening to it too. So those are the songs that I grew up with. I'm sure you probably think of a lot of examples that you grew up with, or maybe if you're in my generation, you can be like, "Oh yeah, I know that song. Yeah, I used to sing along to that all the time." Well, fortunately, that's not a good thing. But now that you're aware of it, you can use different methods to root those out and to pull out those negative self-images of yourself and have a better, positive, more self-esteem. Now, of course, the things they put into movies, um, especially like, I think the example of what I've seen is like people who kind of like think a little bit more out there, kind of like me. And I'm sure if you're watching this, maybe you think along the same lines. But every time that somebody thinks a little different than society, uh, the movie images portrays them as somebody who's totally nutso and off the wall. Of course, there's movies like I Heart Huckabees that are all about, these guys who are, they're having an existential crisis, and and basically the whole movie's kind of making fun of them for the most part. Um, it's an entertaining movie, but if you really get right down to it, the whole movie's making fun of these individuals, and the way they think, and their issues that they're having with their lives, and the total monotony and drudgery of their lives, and how they can make an impact on the environment to try to make it better, And and just to the whole movie is totally uh, directed, towards making them look as nuts as possible. And even a movie like an action movie like Red, and you got that the one guy who played by John Malkovich. They gave him acid, for every day for years or whatever. But they make him seem like a total nut job, and and in the end you find out, he actually has a lot of insight on things, you know, even though they paint him like this total nutbag. And so there's all that stuff, and a lot of the of course the comic books, they're all related to archetypes. And archetypes, I don't know if you're familiar with them, but if you study any psychology, you'll find out that as a people, we look up to these individuals that have like these superpowers and stuff, and they're all throughout like myths and everything about creation and all this other stuff. And so these archetype figures, they're very powerful images that can be used to direct and manipulate. And so that's another way that they use to kind of get into our subconscious and to help to guide us in different directions. So now that you're aware of all this stuff, well, what kind of stuff you could do to root out these negative issues? Well, one thing you could do, and this is an extreme method, I agree, but you can stop watching all that stuff. I I personally started giving up TV like a long time ago. Um, in my era, like that was the start of like the reality TV, and the quote unquote reality TV, I guess I should say, because it seems to me it's all scripted. Um, but this reality TV really was seemed really absurd to me, and when that all that kick started coming in, I totally tuned out. So I stopped watching TV about at that moment, and so but I find when I do happen to, like, if somebody has it on, it's very distracting, and there's reasons why that is. Of course, psychologically, it's all built to capture, to draw that interest in, and then the TV as well, it vibrates at a hypnotic frequency. Um, Based on our voltage system, 120 volts and 120 cycles per second. Um, that frequency, well, it's actually 60 volts, 120 cycles per second, but that frequency is very hypnotic for the average individual, and so that's one way that it can. That's one reason why it draws you in. Of course, the sounds are all vibratory and at a hypnotic level as well. And of course, for more information, you can always study more about like stuff like MPL and stuff like that. And they use these techniques, in the television all the time. So that's one way. Of course, you can give up, stuff like music, especially listening to music that has those lyrics like that. Um, it's my saying nowadays: if you listen to trap music, you're trapped, because you have that mindset, and it it just builds upon itself. So how do we get rid of this stuff? So one of my favorite Kyrias to do to get rid of subconscious stuff is just do this and chant Waheguru. Waheguru, 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 Waheguru. Of course, I've done that in one of my videos, and I'll put the link down below. And a lot of other videos that I have, also work with the subconscious too. I think the other Kriya with that, and some of the stuff with the brain, also works to eliminate the subconscious thoughts, particularly. So, yeah, do Kundalini yoga, do meditation. Meditation really helps you to see what's going on in your subconscious, because the goal of meditation is to quiet your conscious mind, and then your subconscious mind will automatically bubble up, because it's almost like you're dreaming. And as I said a little earlier, dreaming is the manifestation of your subconscious. So when you slow your brain down, you see the surface of what's in the subconscious, and you'll find that you'll be, for lack of a better word, plagued by certain memories, and they'll keep coming up in your subconscious whenever you slow your mind down. And so the thing is to figure out what you're trying to, why that is lodged in there, and then go ahead and root it out, take it out, pull it out, and release it. For me recently, I found that things have been happening in the past, or things that have happened in the past, I'll get these, I'll start replaying them in my head, and I'm like, well, why am I doing this? Okay, what do I need to learn from this situation? And that's when I really sort of took a neutral stance and looked at the whole situation. I'm like, oh, I need to learn this and that, and okay, yeah, I shouldn't have been in that situation. Totally, I should have saw that coming. It should have made more sense to me. But of course, hindsight is 20/20. But the reason why your subconscious keeps bringing it up, because there's an issue there, and the thing is to figure out what that issue is, so that way you can eliminate it. All right. Well, thank you for watching. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And I wrote a book recently all about the adventures and misadventures through my spiritual journey, and it's called Why I Wear This Thing on My Head. And it deals with all the the reason I started wearing this turban and my spiritual journey as a whole. Alright, Sat Nam.